Alright, this is the standard we're going to be covering in this lesson, and that is understanding that a two-dimensional figure is congruent to another if the second can be obtained from the first by a sequence of rotations, reflections, and translations. Given two congruent figures, describe a sequence that exhibits the congruence between them. So this is kind of similar to the previous lesson. Alright, so as you can see, we have two images on this coordinate plane. There's two quadrilaterals. So the first one is ABCD. And the way that you can tell is we call this prime notation when you have, if you can look real quick, if you see these letters, A, B, C, and D, they're just letters. But if you look at the second shape, we have what's called prime notation, and that's that little apostrophe. And that shows us that that is the new object that has been translated. So I'm going to, oops, not erase that. There we go. So what we need to figure out, given these two images, we need to decide, has it been translated, reflected, or rotated? So if you remember from before, our translation means that we have our image and it moves to become our second image. And then we have a reflection. We'll use the letter R. And a reflection is that mirror image. And then we have our, oh boy, rotation. So I'll use a smiley face. And if we're going to rotate that guy. So that's an idea of the rotation. So you kind of just have to look at the shape. This one, as you can see, it's maintained its shape. So it's pretty easy to decide that this has been translated, which means slid. So now we have to be specific. So let's look at our first coordinate of A and see where it became, or where it translated to. So how many did it translate and in which direction? So this one, to go from the original A, we went down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 units. So we went down 5. And then we went 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we went right 6. Okay, now it's important that you have your proper notation. So you can say that ABCD was translated 5 units down and 6 units to the right to coincide with A, B, C, D. Okay, so it's just explaining that the proper way. And then here's another example. So we have pentagon ABCDE, and we want to show that it is congruent to A prime, B prime, C prime, D prime, E prime. So again, you have to decide, has it been translated, reflected, or rotated? Okay, now this one could be confusing. Translation's kind of out of the question, because if it was translated, we would have the exact same image as you see up here. But since we don't, a rotation, if you think about if this object were to turn, the letters would also be turned. So this one, it's easier to explain in person, but to save ourselves some space, A, B, C, D, E has been reflected. But where was it reflected? Across the line segment M to coincide with A prime, B prime, C prime, D prime, E prime. All right, another one. This one we have to decide to show that DEF is congruent to triangle D prime, E prime, F prime. So if you can imagine, this triangle has been, this is, oh, sorry, that is our new one. Oh boy. All right, so the green one is our new image. So we have to see what happened to the original. So in this case, this object has been rotated, okay? And the way that we say this, it has been rotated about point N. We use the word about. It means like that's the point, like the center of a clock, how the hands of a clock move around where they're connected to the clock. And kind of like in our solar system, Earth rotates about the sun. So it's kind of that same idea. So all of these points have rotated, which means they're the same distance from that center point. So E is going to maintain that same distance from N. Okay? D is going to maintain that same distance from N. And then the same thing with F. So this one has been rotated, and from the example from before, it has been rotated 90 degrees counterclockwise, so the opposite way that a clock goes, about point N. And here we have a double. So this one has been, and again, you just get better with this with practice. If you have transparent paper that you can play around with the image, it helps. This is our original image, A, B, C. Okay. This one has undergone a double transformation. So this one has been rotated. And if we rotated it about point C, just about point C, let's take it 90 degrees counterclockwise, which would give us this new shape here. This would be B. And A is 2 units away. So we're going to put A here and back up to C. So that would show a rotation, 90 degrees counterclockwise, and then it has been translated here's A, 1, 2, 3 units. B also moved, so this would become A. B also moved 3 units, and C also moved 3 units. So 3 units left. Again, this is not the best lesson to show because it's a lot easier to show in person or with animation, but this should kind of give you just a basic idea to help you out.